Hey everybody! I'm so excited to be here. One second, I need to click another button to make sure that it's not working. So I guess, Instagram, you just don't get alive today. So anyways, family, I'm super excited to be here. I don't usually go live on Sundays, but I really felt the call from Spirit, and I felt like there were some messages that need to come through. And when I asked, it was all about how to lean into a divinely led business. Um, I know a lot of you on my page are, um, hi, hello, thank you so much. By the way, I have a discount code for these, 50% off, and they're extremely accessible and amazing quality, and you can add like your prescription and all the stuff. If you check the link in my link tree and all the things, you can access those. Um, but hi, Christine. I know that many of you are artists and activists and healers and are in the process of yeah, what perfect timing. I like you just got a new prescription. Yeah, I'm not even kidding you. It's called Firmu. So you can just use the code in my link tree. Literally their glasses range from like $10 to like $20 and then you get half off. Like it's wild, and they're super great quality and they're quirky and fun and there's cute ones and all sorts of stuff, and it also supports my business. So someone else in Z School for the Gifted just got a pair and they were like, these are awesome. So I always try to pick good brands, and they're very accessible. But anyways, yeah, you should get some. They're so fun. I love them and they're really easy to work with. Super sweet people. um but I know that many people are trying to transition into whatever it is that spirit, or God or universe, whatever your verbiage is leading you into doing. So I wanted to share some knowledge around that because I have spent many, 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 many years of my life making this transition, and sometimes it's not always easy. And so if you have questions about it, or what you're kind of going through, feel free to let me know in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm so excited, of course, Kismet, happy to help as much as I can. I will say, when you are starting, your divinely led business, or you get the call or like the urge to begin your divinely led business, it can be quite overwhelming. As many of you know, like once you open your gifts, messages and downloads and visions and astral traveling all just begins to happen. And there's like this phase in the beginning of like urgency, right? Like people are like, I've seen myself on stage. I've like seen myself like with this person, and I know God wants me to do this, but I don't know how to do it. And then you start to get really overwhelmed and you don't know what to do with all these visions. And that's like, I feel like the most fun stage out of all of it. And you hit these highs and lows throughout the whole thing. Um, but, when you start to get those visions, like, just remember that whatever you are seeing is meant for you. The biggest thing I always let people know is release your concept of time. Because the minute you start to receive those downloads, the minute your clairs start to open, the minute you start spiritually awakening, um, you start to get a little resistant if you start leaning into time, right? Time can also be considered a part of Maya meaning illusions. Because you're like, oh, I really want to do this. I really want the money. God says I'm gonna be on stage, and all this stuff. So, and it's easy to shift into these low frequency energies without even knowing it. And I was talking to someone recently about how they were feeling like a lot of apathy and anger and upset with things that they were going through, because they felt like spirit had promised them this life, uh but it seemed unattainable to them. And my biggest question to them was, are they really surrendering to their path? And why is it that you feel like you mistrust, the universe, regardless of what spirit has blessed you with? Are you not alive? Do you not have a roof over your head? And these sorts of things. Um and also the journey of having a divinely led business, there is going to be many, many, many ego deaths. Many. People don't tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that right now for the record that if you're like, I want to follow spirit, I want to surrender to my manifestations, I want to help hundreds of thousands of people, get ready to have the most amount of ego deaths you have ever had in your entire life. Um hello, Grand Rising. It's so great to see you, Victoria. Let me know in the chat how many of you have creative businesses, or you want to be an entrepreneur, or maybe you don't know how. Like, where are you at in your journey? Hi, hello, Fairy B, the alchemistic. That's so cool. I love that name. Also, hello, Fairy, fellow Fairy. I don't know why every time I talk about fairies, I go into like, you know, singing. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, let me know in the chat where you're at on your entrepreneurship journey. And something else I will also share about it is um sometimes when people go on their journey of having a divinely led business, there is a tendency to also become severely helpless, like severely helpless. Like some folks get confused about like what it means to be divinely led and what it means to co-create with the universe, right? Like people are like, well, I just don't know, like I want all the answers, and spirit has been telling you for a long time, but you're missing it. Of you have all the answers, why don't you just tap into your inner knowing, into the collective, into your love frequency, and create the life that you are wanting, because I'm supporting you right now. People are like, I'm just really confused. And it's like, well, you're confused because you're thinking about it instead of doing something about it. Um, Let's see what someone said. I just launched my spiritual life coaching business. Yes. Yeah. I just finished writing my first book. Double. I have my first client booked for tomorrow. Yay, Victoria! I'm cheering you on. This is amazing. I'm so happy for you. This is perfect timing. The energy is amazing right now. The more you take action, the more you keep going. This is what this is what happens. Literally. I'm so proud of you, Victoria. Oh my goodness, that just warms my heart so much. How are you feeling about it? Tell me all the things. I want to know everything. I wish you were here to have tea with me. I want to talk to you in person all about it. I love that your favorite voice is like old games, or that is 50 style voice. Yeah, I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. But it just kind of comes out that way. Except when I do like my hidden fairies thing, then it's like a teeny child, but like if I'm talking fairy to fairy, it's like, oh, see? What the is that? Um, I want to be an entrepreneur fully. I love that. I lost my job, and now spirit is leading me to this path, and seeing this name of this life felt so connected. How amazing, right? Spirit was like, okay, I'm gonna lead you. And then spirit was like, hey Z, I got something for you. All these voices, I don't know. Like, there's people who need to talk to you. I'm so excited. Tell me about this journey for you. Like, I know that that phase of like when you lose your job to being led to someplace else, right? That divine redirection is such a wild roller coaster, and I love it so much. What do you feel like you're being called to do? Yeah, congratulations, Victoria, right? What? Gratitude, attitude. Because fairies are pretty gangsta. They really are. They're so underestimated, and they're just one of my favorite people. Right? Like, I feel like we're awesome. Every fairy, every fae folk that I have met, they're so underestimated. Like, sometimes people will be like, "Oh, you don't have a brain cell." And I'm like, "Well, aren't you funny? Aren't you funny?" And the funniest thing is that, we can just keep going about life happy as a clam because we know who we are. Like, that's the best part about fairy energy. It's like, well, we don't need to pull our daggers on you right now. That's a waste of time. So we're just going to throw a little glitter on you and keep going. um, and I literally just was saying in the shower, that's when I truly talk to spirit. I love that. Yeah. Showers are powerful, like water energy and just alone time and cleansing. Um, I'm constantly dancing in the shower because spirit's always playing music in my head, and it's the funniest thing. And I love it so much. And I get all my downloads there too. Well, not just there, but I get a lot of them there. And I said, "Show me the way so I stand in place so that I can make more than enough as a spirit-led business." Yeah. The most beautiful part of having a spirit-led business is like you can surrender your typical ideas of making money because it becomes quite miraculous, and you'll realize that the more you take action towards being of service, towards being loving, it's so easy. It's so, so, so easy. And spirit is going to surround you with people who are going to help you, like myself. And I remember there were times when, I was getting tested, and you'll probably get tested of like, um, are you going to stand strong in who you are and the spiritually led business, and regardless of what people think about you. And for the longest time there were moments on my path, not saying it'll happen on yours, but just sharing in case anybody finds it relevant, that I like drove myself into the ground because I was still trying to lead with this energy of it has to look like this, I have to post like this, I have to blah blah blah. And my business has never been like that because it's divinely led. And so everything that we do is of service. We become like heavily connected to God, to spirit, to the universe. And so when the universe decides to move, that's when we move. When the universe tells us to take an action, we take action. But we also co-create at the same time and say, like, I really feel like this is something that I want to create. And usually if it's of love, it's it's from spirit, right? Um, and spirit always provides. And it's funny that we're talking about this too. Because when I was at church today, and one of my favorite pastors was speaking, and his name was Mark. I actually took a lot of notes. I felt like it was going to be important for today for some reason, and it was all about generosity, and even like within a business. And there were a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'd been in meetings with them before, and all of us, like, we always put money aside regardless of how much we're making. And I set mine up so that it just automatically kind of goes and gets put aside. But also knowing that with a divinely led business, the money, like, in general, right? I don't really see money as it just being mine. Like, yeah, I'm doing the work and co-creating with spirit, but I asked spirit to have a divinely led business, and spirit asked me, right? And so it's like, I literally was telling my client was I pray over my money, and I always say, like, spirit, what is it that you want me to do with this money? It's not for me. So what is it that you want me to do? And that's when it becomes easy because you always have more than enough. And that idea of like what it's supposed to look like and how much it's supposed to look like is never going to be the same in a divinely led business, right? And you'll go through a phase in the beginning of like releasing that ego because spirit is so divine. And there were some quotes from the Bible that they were kind of talking about, and but some things that they said that was really important because we were talking about budgeting and generosity, and like having more than we always have more than enough because spirit is always more than enough, and we are of spirit, right? So there is an infinite amount of money, there's an infinite amount of love, and so how can we embody that? And the biggest point that he was making was that you need capacity to give, you need a margin to give. So like as everybody is leaning into their business, how can you live more simply, like in simplicity, so that you have the capacity to actually sow seeds and give back to the community? If you are living above your means, or buying stuff that you don't need, like I was talking to a client about how I buy a lot of stuff from the thrift store, but I also protect Pachamama. I was in manufacturing, like we don't need a bunch of new things ever. And it's more sustainable. And also when I do that, it gives me more money to be able to sow back into my business and help all of you, and help day to day on the street, and like invest in projects. So it's like always remember that when you're thinking about having more than enough. Oh my gosh, I have so many questions. I am nervous and I don't know what to do with this finished book. I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to. No, don't ever always ask. You are never a bother. You're never complicating anything. I am here to be of service to all of you. So ask whatever questions you want. Like that is what I'm here for. The only advice I always give people is like, um it's the quality of the question. So the more you explain to me what you need, the better I can assist you. But please always ask, even if it's off theme for the video. Like, quiet mouths don't get fed, right? Well, I'm a Reiki master, somatic practitioner, sound healer, and holistic massage practitioner in school of MSc of energy medicine. So like there's so much that I could be doing. Yeah. Um, there is so much, but allow spirit to kind of guide you, right? Like my business is very complex, my like very, very, very complex. And when I stopped looking at it as things that I could do, like you have to look at it in a less of a linear way, right? We can't always see in the beginning how the pieces are going to come together. Like I wouldn't have thought that my music, my poetry, my writing, my dog training, my voiceovers and everything would pour into a business in such a way that I could give back. Like I'm doing a live event later this month. Like I have my YouTube, I can create insight timer things. I can also infuse my schooling with like Reiki energy and sound healing, right? There's many ways that the business start to shift, but like once you let go of doing just one thing, spirit will be able to guide you into how things can be incorporated and just do what you love that day. Like that's what's so fun about having a divinely led business. I know I'm led to do intentional healing work, but more than my massage work. I don't know. I haven't asked for direction yet, but I will. Yeah, I pray for direction and just say, um, like lead me to wherever you want me to be. And sometimes I say, make it so clear that I can't miss it, right? Like I'm like, if you need to smack me around, or like things need to fall over, or if you need to like my phone needs to break and I have to get outside, like I don't care what you do, just help me out. Fairy B, I'm getting my Reiki master in August. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Happy journeying. Yeah. So amazing. Look at all this love. Y'all are so sweet. Yes, that's also something that I'm getting back into. I'm currently going through an ego death for sure after starting my apothecary. Yes, there will be many ego deaths. There will be many ego deaths on a spiritually led, like divinely led business. So, so, so many. But once you do one, you see why you had to do it and how much strength you get from doing it. Because it gets you to a point where you're so resilient and you can just keep going and you can elevate even higher to that frequency of love, of happiness, of joy, and then it radiates out of your business, right? And like that's what those ego deaths are for, even though they're like tough AF, right? Is something that I'm sitting with, and spirit is showing me so much. Yeah, completely. I just love that spirit can just come in, right, and help. Like that says a lot about who you are and how open that you are. Um thank you, Fairy. I love that you're talking back and forth. I love this. I needed that so much. That's amazing. But yeah, having a spiritually led business, I will also say it's not for the faint of heart, and that is not me like discouraging anybody. I'm just saying that when you have a spiritually led business, it's a requirement for you to really like lean into your spirituality more than you have in your entire life. There's many, many weeks, that I go in solitude so I can really hear what spirit is telling me, so I can be with the deities, so I can like focus on myself, so I can heal and release, like go through those ego deaths more quickly while also, right? I'm still running my business. So um you have to surround yourself also with people who understand you and understand that you have a spiritually led business. So a lot of the times when you have a spiritually led business, you end up having friends that also have spiritually led businesses, but you have to be careful about not pouring into them too much so that you can pour into what you need to do in terms of being of service. um and it's very interesting because as you continue to ascend, like you'll start to realize, like in most cases, like which friends are going to be for you, which ones are not. And I learned many, many times that I can't be friends with everybody. Like I'm just not. Like I won't, I refuse, because when you become more gifted and you actually have a spiritually like a spiritually led business is very different than anybody else's who's like, oh yeah, I kind of manifest and I'm spiritual. That's not the same as a spiritually led business. A spiritually led business will do miraculous things. Like extremely miraculous things, and we all are on the understanding that like we are to be of service. Like there is no other way to like operate, and spiritually led businesses move differently, like completely differently. Our setup is different. We have to go with the flow of whatever the divine is telling us, and wanting us to do. And there was a time I shut down my entire business on faith. On faith. I fully shut it all down because spirit told me to. And then someone stepped into my life to help fund my business and my life for an entire year so I could restructure it, and then I rebuild it, and then now I'm here. So it's like sometimes you have to lean in, and it does not look it does not look normal on paper. Okay, I finished my book and I don't know the next steps. I do not have resources to get it edited, cover design, publishing, etc. Do you have any advice for me? Um, so in terms of editing, I did all my own editing. I would put that book into like some sort of chat GPT if you want to. My biggest thing as a writer, my first book, so many mistakes, and I left it because I was like, I'm gonna normalize fucking up my book because there's so much pressure. Like the other day, one of my siblings was talking about, I love this book, but you have to get over the fact that they're like a really shitty writer and all those things. And I was like, that's really funny because I don't really care about that stuff at all. And she's like, no, it's really bad. And I was like, that you're just being judgmental. Like, is the book, does it have words? Like, I'm like, they did an amazing job and I don't really care. And I'm proud of them for finishing the book. So like in terms of editing, make it super simple. Put it into ChatGPT. I think, what is it called? Grammarly or something sometimes has free editing and things. You can also plop that in there. It goes like in different stages of how you want to edit. Like you can say that you wanted it super edited, or you can say you just want some sort of grammar and stuff. Just do that. And covers, just get you a free Canva design thing and just create a cover from there. Just make, like, literally make this the most simple you can make it because it doesn't matter. Um, Obviously down the road, like you can change it. Like that's what I told myself. This book, I took this cover on my cell phone. I was at a show and Spirit was like, take a selfie. And I was like, okay. So I took a selfie, and like a month later, I ended up finishing my book and put myself on the front of it. Um, a lot of this text I designed and made myself in Canva. And then I happened to actually manifest someone in my life who was a publisher, but they didn't publish it the normal way. I ended up just going through Ingram Spark and creating it independently. And they just kind of gave some advice every once in a while. But the editing and stuff like that, like, because Spirit will teach you how to do things on your own as well. I actually wanted them to edit it, but it didn't work out that way. And I was on a time crunch. And so I went through and just was like, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I was like, it's gonna be fine. Like, I don't really care. I can always fix it. Like I'm pretty sure I said I had a bachelor's of arts in no, I had a bachelor's of science in art or something. Like, there's little things like that in there that I actually found hilarious. But you can do Ingram Spark, or you can do, I know folks sometimes use Amazon. I don't particularly enjoy Amazon just because of, anti-war and all those things, but I also am a firm believer that there needs to be access to healers in an accessible way. There's also, I can't remember the name of them right now, but there's some book groups. I would try and Google it. That are femmes of color that actually go around and help folks publish. So I would look locally to see if there's any um, way that you can get published. A lot of them are willing to help if you just ask. So be really, really resourceful. But honestly, put it into Grammarly because that's for your chat GPT on Google. Doesn't even matter. Like, go into Canva, get you a free account, make your own cover, and just like boop, boop, call it a day. Literally call it a day. That also reminds me of is in New Girl when Nick writes his whole book, and then like I think Jessica Day is the one that cuts out the paper. They literally bind it themselves and glue it. Like there's many, many things you can do. Yes, I met someone who supposedly helped heart-based entrepreneurs, and it seemed to be very much leading themselves, but not so much to others. Wait, I don't know why. I think I'm complicating that sentence. Seem to be very much leading themselves, but not so much to others. Like they didn't care about others. Yeah, playing Canva for sure. Amazing picture selfie or not. Thank you. Um, oh well, that is definitely brilliant. Gratitude. I didn't know you wrote a book. Yeah, it's called The Empowered Feminization. I made a video about it on the YouTube channel, and it has its own website. Yeah, definitely check it out. I recorded it as well, so I did the voiceover for Audible. So if anybody ever needs help, someone else was also asking for me to bring back the business classes and things like that. I might do that once a week if folks are interested. And there's, you can come in and ask questions like that, like how do I create a book, or what do I need for Audible, or how do I produce music, or where do I even start? Is this legal? Like whatever you need. I've worked in manufacturing where you're like, I want to make prints, or I don't know how to do this. I want to sew, or I want to make glasses. I got people for that, or whatever. um, I'll be on the lookout for you, Victoria. Oh, I think I ran into some Facebook groups a while back. Yeah, there's a ton, a ton. And honestly, like if you look locally, there's likely going to be a bunch of artists who can point you in the right direction too, because there's a lot of stores everywhere I've gone that are really wanting to help local artists because they're artists. And so 10,000%. Like, start with what you have and then just go from there. The heart-based entrepreneur, the moral of the story, eventually I learned they were a heart-based narcissist. No, okay. Thank you for I was like, that's what I thought you were saying, but I didn't want to make an assumption. That will happen. That will happen a lot. Which is why it's like so important for everybody to like go through these ego deaths, right? Like, and thank your lucky stars that it was revealed to you before you invested too heavily, because that's definitely happened to me. Where folks, said they were quite heart-centered and enlightened. And sometimes there's a lesson in that, right? But I love that y'all are helping each other. Um, and I will say too that when you have your business, as miraculous as it can be, there are times when you have to have structure in your business. Like I feel like sometimes when folks have spiritually led businesses, depending on how far into their spirituality they are, um, they lose track of balancing themselves with the masculine energy, regardless of gender, right? The masculine energy is the safety, the container, the structure, the repetition, and things like that, which are necessary to have in your business in order to grow. And sometimes an out of balance feminine energy, again, regardless of gender, can make it feel like you're working quite hard, but really you're not. And then that'll also, point out to you, like, are you still living in your ego, expecting things to happen in a certain time? But it's such an amazing journey. And there's some days where I can't even explain it, because the way that your guides and spirit will lead you to the right person, to the right place, to the right printer, to the right teacher, to the right clothes to wear that day, that like then introduces you to like this well-known artist who gives you all the advice you just randomly like, it's so bizarre and so miraculous and lovely. Like I'm just really happy that all of you are interested in like having a divinely led business, because it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And I'm going to share this story because I was talking with them earlier today. I'm not going to say who they were. Um, but when you are a divinely led business, you tend to gravitate other divinely led businesses around you, which means you kind of create this like network of divinity. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then you all start naturally channeling messages for each other and helping folks out. And I had one day I was at this talk with someone at like a coffee shop, and I was like not enjoying myself really, but I knew that I had to be there. And so they had said something about like Bumble BFF, and then I was like, cool, thanks. And I left and I knew exactly which client it was for because they are starting a divinely led business, and it just was like clear as day. I could see their name and how they could implement it. And so I gave them the information, and then they ended up signing up, and then they met someone that was sitting next to them at their last art show, and they were looking for a community to start this event. Like it was like it becomes this like network of communication that you don't really see coming. So as you go on your journey, like really, really be open. Like I love that Victoria has questions. Like always ask your questions. Like don't do things alone because like colonial spiritualism has taught people, or spirituality has taught people that you're supposed to do it on your own. Like yes, there are times when you go into hermit mode so you can hear spirit's voice, but your community is there to help you. And it's all over, like whether or not you're Christian or you practice Buddhism, like community is across all cultures. It's all cultures. We're not meant to be by ourselves. It's just a matter of having a community and manifesting the community, and saying yes to opportunities that will lead you to the community, that's truly, truly going to um, support you. Yeah, definitely another lesson. Yeah, but how amazing, right? That you get to have a lesson. Some people go through life ignoring lessons and then they don't get normal lessons because they don't want to. Like they don't want to. As hard as life can be sometimes, like every once in a while, or I'm like, dang, that's a tough pill to swallow. I'm like, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to expand beyond this limiting belief. Like, thank you so much for challenging me to do better. Thank you so much for helping me realize that I'm really fucking capable of so many amazing, brilliant things. And thank you so much for teaching me that money doesn't matter. And thank you so, so, so much for like emotionally ripping it out of me because I didn't know how to do it myself. Right? Like there's so like when you can operate from a place of gratitude, having a divinely led business is so much easier. It's so much easier. And I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube that, say, spirit's making things better for you going forward. And then your ego is like, is that really going to happen? Is that really going to happen? The biggest thing is like, if spirit already told you that the worst of what you've experienced is over, lean into that. Like lean into that. Believe that every day after that is going to be amazing. And yes, there's going to be days where spirit's like, surprise, ego death, right? But then you're like, you know what happens? Do you know what happens after an ego death? I'm lit as fuck. Right? I'm so lit. I'm happy. I've like changed. I'm a brand new person. I'm the main character. And now I can pour everything I got back into the community. Right? Like, let me know. Like, is that making sense for y'all? And let me know if you have any more questions, if that works for you. Um, but I just really felt called to share this because like, I personally love having a divinely led business, and I do feel like the universe and spirit, is like, and the ancestors and the deities, that's why there's so many of them out right now, like, are ushering in so many new businesses to counteract a lot of the chaos that is in the world and the chaos that is coming. Because that is the truth of the matter, even astrologically, there's more chaos coming, and so the more that we can lean in and vibrate at a very high frequency of love and be led versus trying to force decisions and force a business and force all this money and force all these things, we can help more people. Like 10,000% we can help more people. And when opportunities present themselves to you, just take them and talk to spirit about it ahead of time if you're unsure. Because I will say there will be times on your journey, right, where you may get a lot of distractions because you might be manifesting many things. And that's the other thing about having a divinely led business. You don't necessarily have to do everything at once, but it's going to feel like you need to because the energy is so strong and you're connecting with it so intimately. And spirit is likely allowing you to see all the energies around you. But that's still, you still have to tap back into an energy of presence, right? Of presence and intention, and rooting back into why is it that you wanted this divinely led business in the first place, because you will be tested, you will be stretched thin, you will learn what it's like to have money, you will learn what it's like to not have money, you will learn what it's like to work on your own, you will learn what it's like to work with people who you shouldn't work with, you will learn, right? Because spirit is constantly preparing you and up leveling you. If you took the mentality that you were at last year and stayed at that the rest of your life, imagine your business would not grow, right? Like, we're here to grow and expand. Our soul is here to grow and expand. We must evolve in order to help more people. And so growth comes when change comes. And it's no different than in your business. So as long as you are open to returning to love and remembering why you're doing all these things, and remember how you want to help so many people, it's going to feel so amazing as you grow your divinely led business. Do you have any advice for maintenance structures within my business? I'm a balance number 13, and woo. Um yeah, I mean, what are you trying to organize? Um like, is it day-to-day coach? So I guess I'm getting some answers. In terms of, hold on, let me read this one too before I say something. It's weird because all my life I wanted to be a counselor therapist, but now I question my passion. It took so darn long. Yeah, and that's going to change day to day. It's going to fully change day to day, and it might come back in 2 years. It might be here now. It might, like, whatever, right? I definitely tried to burn my business down. Because I was like, I'm tired. And then Spirit was like, well, I'm shutting your business down for a year anyways. And so that happened. And then I was able to, like, rest and rebuild and then bring it back out. And he was like, you don't want to actually burn it down. You're just really tired. And I was like, got it. um, you said everything day to day, the business, yes. So, um, well, one of the best ways to manage your business is to understand your own psychological behavior. Um, because aside from spirituality, right? Like, running a business that's spiritual, you have to create time to go with the flow, but then the structures of running a business have to be set within less flow sometimes. And in terms of day to day, I would, one, understand who you are, like how you lead, how you show up. Doing human design is also really fun. Like, I love human design. Um, Figuring out, like, what is it called? Your leadership skills. Like, I love taking all those little quizzes because it's always helped me. Like, I'm a CD, so I know how to lead. I know how to, like, communicate to people or receive information, which helped me structure my business as well. I also understand, like, understanding yourself is important in order to build the structure. But I'm going to keep going, keep stacking onto this. Um, like, I understand that in order for me to feel comfortable in making business decisions, I have to have all of the parts, because I'm also a scientist. And so I will run a million theories and test things on social media to see what lands, and see what I'm most comfortable with. I'll also, like, change my schedule every once in a while to see if that works for me, right? But once I know how I work, which is I will easily burn myself out from doing too much. So I have to have automations and I have to have things scheduled. Otherwise, I'm not human, right? So are you the type of person to overwork, or are you the type of person to underwork, right? And if this is, like, kind of new to you, setting up, like, a simple schedule for yourself, like, okay, well, how many times am I able to post on social media? Some folks in the beginning, some folks post every day, some folks post a couple of times a week, some people just go live and they love that. Like, what are you energetically most comfortable with, and asking that for yourself so you can answer it. Because there's going to be times when your energy changes and stuff like that. So understanding yourself so that you can build structure in your business day to day. um Having some sort of like organizational tool for you, like a platform. I make a lot of content, so I have a scheduler. I also, you can use boards like Trello or something like that, so that you can open it and it keeps like your goals and that kind of stuff. Which I will also say to create, like, what kind of goals do you have for your business? And that will kind of help you work backwards to how you should structure your day to day. Like, if you're like, am wanting to make this amount of money so I can pay for my bills. What would that really look like tangibly? But then there's also the manifestation part and making sure that you have time on your schedule to start your day. Like, what works best for me is I always have movement, I always have sun, and I'm usually in the water every single day because spiritually I channel a lot of messages in a massive way and I work with a lot of people. And so in order for me to balance my energy back and like have fun, I go in the sun, I like play in the water, I journal, I create before I even get to work. And I start a little bit later in the day because I move more slowly so that I can stay in my feminine and then rely on my like masculine energy automations to do the things. Um so that is also a possibility. I found that for myself, Trello doesn't quite work for me anymore. I'm a artistic person, and so writing things down is very useful for me. Like, obviously I have my scheduler and calendar and I can check it, and I have like basic things that I do throughout the day, and I've set up my business so that it's not heavily based in emails. It's heavily based in content because I hate doing emails. Was in manufacturing, that's all I did for like years. So my emails are basically going around and reading your comments and things like that, while I keep a like really beautiful planner right here that keeps me on track because I love it. Like, it makes me so happy. So I would get to know yourself and what makes you the most happy, because when you have a divinely led business, it's really different. Your energy becomes way more important. If I do something that's really boring, if I like I can't do it. I can't do it. And I learned that going into other coaching programs of like, why do I have to do it this way? Like, I was like, I don't want to do it this way. I don't like it like that. I'm so resistant. But I enjoyed what they were sharing, but like they didn't know how to manage the spirituality. So I think planning your day to day around your spiritual practices and what feels good to you is going to make structuring your business a lot easier. And then there's like, the business side of things, like the number side of things and like algorithms and things like that. But I have also found that I didn't give a crap about algorithm, and because spirit told me not to, and it worked out anyways. So what are you comfortable with? Being a solo mama and homeschooling mama, that's what's been stopping me or had me running to survival tactics, but it makes me physically sick. Yeah. Um, yeah, you can't, I like, that's why it's so great, especially because you're a mama, like leaning into that feminine energy to manifest the business. That's going to be so much easier, right? And like simplifying the business tasks so that it's easy for you, because the minute the divine feminine energy gets distorted, it like shifts into scarcity, poverty mindset, like all these things, especially depending on your background and what trauma you've been through, how you were raised, mindsets, like all of that plays into it. But the divine feminine energy, which it feels like maybe you have more of divine feminine energy in you, we thrive most when we are really happy, right? Like, you're in motherhood and homeschooling, like you want to cherish those moments, you want to cherish your business. So creating day-to-day things in your business that you really love is going to be really important for you. And like having a little software like later or something like that that will schedule everything for you, and all you like, if you want emails you can, but I feel like people focus on the emails too much, but there's so many other ways to do it depending on the avenue. Like, are you a social content creator? Like, do you want you to run your business online? Is that how you want to market? Or do you like in the beginning with my business, I was on social media, but I was heavily marketing at fairs. Like, I loved going to fairs. I have a very magnetic energy. So when I'm at fairs, people just like stick to me and they're like, "Hi." Right? So I knew that I could help more people going to fairs, and I always would have a plan around it because fairs take a lot of energy and it's like they suck the life out of you. Um, but it was so much fun. So it just depends. Like, do you want to get your business off the ground that way, or like whatever works for you. Whatever works for you, because whatever aligns with your energy is gonna be where spirit's gonna meet you. I guarantee you, spirit has already kind of shown folks, like which direction to really take. I'm a reflector in human design and I so much want to learn more about. Yeah. I love human design. I should do a human design video. I am a projector. I also have I thrive in marketplaces. Literally, it's part of my chart. I also have tribal, so I build community and all these things and protect people. Um yeah, I love like human design is amazing. It helped me so much because I was like, why are people so turned off by my energy? But I had to be able to create invitations like this, like alive. Like I had to be able to like create the space for people to show up. And that was the permission. And then, allowing permission again. Otherwise, it was like people were like, no, like that literally is how it works. So get to know more about you being a reflector. There's someone else in Z school for the business. I guess I have to bring that back. Z school for oh, Z school for the gifted that is also a reflector, and they're amazing. Um, they have a very interesting energy, very calm. If you ever come to Z School for the Gifted, I highly recommend it. You can meet them because they are an entrepreneur and they successfully run their business. And I feel like you two can talk about that. That helps so much, of course. Yeah. Yeah, you will quit if it's too boring. Yeah. And I think something that it can be easily lost on social media with all the different coaches is like being your most authentic self within your business because you're the one running it. And um, I also think that sometimes we heavily rely on other people to teach us about our businesses, but we likely have all of the skills there. We just have to learn how to implement them in a way that works for us, right? Because a lot of people come from corporate jobs and all these things. And so that was my biggest learning curve and like being like what is my thinking around this? Because I've run like millions and millions of dollars and like like all these things traveled overseas, like I'm a total boss lady, but for some reason when I step into my business in the past, like I was like, why am I like I was like, who it's the same thing. Keep going. Right, so you realize that there's just mindsets and things that need to be shifted around for you to put into place so you can bring the same energy into your own business and own it. And I think that um there's a lot of misconceptions on what that is supposed to look like, but with the divinely led business you have to always be connected with the divine and know that you are always protected. And usually with divinely led businesses it's very creative, it's not necessarily like run of the mill businesses, which is why spirit's like, no, I want you to be yourself. Like if you just be yourself in your business, spirit's gonna help you out. um I'm homeschooling mom as well. Oh, everybody's homeschooling. I want to homeschool. I love it so much. Obviously, I have Z School for the Gifted. I love teaching. I'm like a Blackberry, what did I say? Magic school bus kind of vibes. I literally want a school bus. It would be so cool. I feel like I shared this already. I gave up teaching my daughter's schoolwork. I started teaching them what is essential for life. I love that. I love that. I love that so much. They're already gonna be so ahead of the curve already because life living life is very different than a textbook. It's so freaking different. If someone would have taught me when I was younger how to love myself, like just that on a basic level, love myself, love thy neighbor, love the world. Imagine the ripple that would create in an entire world if everybody was like, no, we should love each other and support each other and build community and share. Wow. How many things would be solved? The school wanted too much. Yeah. School is, whew, honey. Yes, I definitely thrive when I'm truly happy. I was looking at old pictures and I'm like, wow, I was so happy. Yeah, you're already happy. You're like, I can't wait to see what you do. Please keep me updated. And it's wild, like when spirit comes in and like shakes things up to help you remember, like you can still be happy in a divinely led business and and still do all of the things that you want to do, right? Like how amazing that you got that opportunity and amazing that you were able to look back and be like, "Oh yeah, like there's this whole stage of recollection when you have a divinely led business because again, we're just remembering parts of us. We're not necessarily creating everything from scratch because like spirit is there guiding us every step of the way of like, hey, get out of the system, like, hey, you're not sad, like, hey, we need to get you to the doctor, like, and that stuff will happen too so that you can prepare yourself to help. It's so miraculous and I love it. Oh my gosh. My babies don't love the school structure. Regular school structure is so racist. Also, like I just it's not loving whatsoever. It doesn't teach you much other than reinforce fear, as my friend talked about, right? In the neurodivergent conversation, which we're going to be doing a second part and we're going to be singing live. It's going to be great. Um, it's kids can't thrive in that environment. It's structured. It's wait, like they're children. They probably want to eat grass, right? Like I have a whole thing about school systems. School systems are just I as a child, did any of you enjoy it growing up? Did any of you write in the chat? Let me know. Did any of you enjoy the school system? I personally did not. I so the first time I was married, I learned that I was like, why are they like they moved very differently, right? Just that family in general. And then I realized that there was like when they were younger, they went to alternative school is what they were calling it. And they like played in the mud and did drum circles and all these things, but it like made a foundation of like deep love and community for them, and then they went into the regular school system and then things got a little janky and you can literally see it in their life when they were talking about it of like when they started to change, when they started to rebel. It was like the minute they went into the system they flipped, and I was like, hey, geesh. I'm very much a person that like more intimate connection. Me too. I love intimate connection so, so, so much. Like that's why I love meeting people. That's why I want to meet all of you because I want to like, can we talk by the campfire? Like I'm such a like, everybody get their cozy PJs. We're gonna go to a fun retreat and we're all gonna talk. And I'll make us all the bruja surprise. I was thinking about going out in festivals and markets, but I'm so drained for weeks after being around so many energies at once. Yeah, you have to like really plan it. Um and be like ready for it. Like there were some months where I did events like back to back, but that whole week before then, I was not on social media. Like it was like wild. It was super super wild. It took me like all week just to balance my energy, and then even then I was like, I'm cranky. I'm cranky. Um Intimate Connection. See School for the Gifted is here on YouTube. Where would I find them? Yeah, See School for the Gifted. It's on YouTube. You can find it in my link tree. If you click in the description of this live, there's going to be literally a button that says, or like a link that says link tree. You can click it and it'll lead you to Z School for the Gifted. And you can come join this Thursday because we meet every Thursday and I love it so much. The community is amazing. we're going to do so for anybody who's new, there's always like open Q&A in the beginning and I'll channel messages for you. Like the last person, I was like, why are you what kind of salad is that? Like I will just see things and help you through your life. And then after that, I usually teach some sort of concept or do some sort of somatic work or shamanic work for the group to help with whatever energy is happening astrologically. And so this Thursday, we're going to be doing astral work. So I'm going to be guiding them through almost into like a sleep meditation and doing astral protection for them. And it's as a preview to my new insight timer meditation that's coming for everybody. That's going to be free that folks can enjoy. And tomorrow is my body, my choice. So if you want to learn about menstrual health, herbalism, and how to support yourself, or if you have children and want to teach them or have friends, like that is tomorrow, and I highly recommend everybody coming to that. You also get a recording, and I'm just a holistic teacher. So, I cannot be in crowds or anything that makes me so anxious being someone who can feel the energy and see so many different things. Yeah, and I will say it feels really intense until you get really good at shielding. Because in the beginning, when you first start going, if you don't shield correctly, your energy will continue to get pulled out. And that was the only reason why I was able to get to a point where I could do a large event every week for like a month because I was like really pushing my shielding, really pushing my rest and like really sinking into spirit and doing my protection and stuff like that. And I was also manifesting people who were next to me, that were very divinely led as well, and we all kind of helped each other. It makes me feel like I'm going mad if I'm around large crowds. Yeah, I would everybody work on their shielding. Um, it gets better. It gets easier. It just like it comes with practice, um, for sure. I'm teaching them 33 universal spiritual laws. I love that. Yeah, teach them something cool. So I teach them life things. I teach them like the basics of reading, writing, and all the things because they get curious as I sit and write. But we literally learn in real time. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, obviously they'll need, basic life skills, but they'll also like I love that you all are being really flexible. I truly appreciate being led to this live. This is so kismet after that shower prayer session. Um, Hi Zawadi, it's so great to see you. Zawadi comes to Z School for the Gifted. Zawadi is amazing. She's also a seer. I liked lunch in high school because we used to do shows during lunch break. That's amazing. That's amazing. I went to like a liberal arts high school, but it was also Catholic. Um, Most of the time in lunch, I was laying on the grass, laying in the sun, like, help. I was dramatic. I hated school after kindergarten. That's totally fair. I didn't enjoy middle school and all of that. I also developed way earlier than everybody else. So I was like a really young kid that was very curvy and all these things. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it whatsoever. I also didn't like people's hormones. Like I just didn't want to talk to anybody. Um, Listen, I hated school. Yeah, that's so sad, right? Like everybody should love school. You're spending so much time there and you're meant to like be there your entire day. Like, can we make better memories for children, right? Like like and even there's a school that my nephew goes to, and I just love hearing about it because it's kind of like alternative too. And he loves it there. He's so happy. And I'm just like, oh, it makes me so happy to see you so happy. 'Cause they're like, oh my precious. I'm like, I'm not gonna say his name. I almost did. Um, but when you're loved and you're in a good community and they teach you something that's important versus you know, the other junk. Hi, Zawadi. Hi. Everyone's so sweet. Yeah. Gosh, school memories, right? When did I start liking school? I started to like school more in high school, but that was because I started going into the arts and science and stuff like that. And I started performing. I was in musical theater. like Wizard of Oz and all that kind of stuff. I also did competitive singing, opera, um, dancing, like liturgical dancing, track and field. Like I like really started to expand in high school. It made it a little bit better, but it was still really hard. Like super, super hard. The good thing about school was learning how to rein in my empathic skills. Yeah. Like learning what was my energy and what was others when the whole class wanted to fight one kid that I liked lessons. Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because sometimes like we go into those situations when we're younger and then it's like it's harder to let go of later. The masking and the hiding. Not really, you learn like certain people can draw their energy back. Like I'm sure you were able to draw your energy back, but then there's other folks who don't even know what that is. Um, and then they just end up masking and can't be their authentic self. I missed my notification for the live, but I'm here now. I love it. Yeah, you're welcome to go back and watch it. I'm gonna be live for maybe like another 5 minutes and then I'm gonna head out. But we're talking about having divinely led businesses. And I know Zawadi has been wanting or is like also an entrepreneur. Well, this was perfect. So, so, so perfect. And I think you had said before, Zawadi, that you had herbalism and things like that. And I was just reminding folks that class on Thursdays, the School for the Gifted, the link is in the description. We're going to be going over astral travel and that sort of stuff. And I'm going to be guiding the meditation. It'll be a lot of fun. You can get your spiritual questions asked, or yeah, you can ask them. I'll answer them live. So I'll actually be able to talk to you because it's over Zoom and meet you. And then tomorrow is My Body, My Choice, so that you can learn about naturally healing your menstrual cycle or your body and things like that. I know that some folks have also approached me and said they had like fibroids and things. So I'm going to share some information. I'm also going to be sharing a video of mine that I made back in the day that I channeled, and it's a mix of, yoga, doula work, doula stretches, like birth work, because I am also a birth worker, and some athletic things because I'm also an athlete, and it really helps open your hips and give you a full bleed, and heal your cycle. So I'm super excited about it. It's tomorrow. I really hope to see many of you there. And someone was also asking if I was going to do the class more than once. And I'm going to take a poll on the community tab and just let me know if you want it. Like, I mean, I don't see why not. Like, I could totally host, um, once a month or something, or like every other week. I can do the My Body, My Choice. So then folks can come if you've missed it before and get what you need, or you want to share information or invite a friend or something like that. I will have it available for you. But let me know if anybody has any more questions. I love it. This was so, would you say it was divinely led? um, but it's been so much fun. I just love getting on live and talking. The super fairy. Yeah. I just love getting online and talking with you all. And you definitely manifested me here, which I always celebrate. And just know that as long as you are connected to spirit, to God, to the universe, to Allah, to Buddha, like Baba, right? Whatever you believe in, um, you will never be lost. The only time you may feel like you don't know which way to go is because you're not connecting as deeply with spirit as you should be. So that's like the biggest thing to always remember is, okay, maybe I feel confused today, or I don't feel as confident, right? Like slow down, take some deep breaths for you, get out in nature, reconnect, say your prayers. I actually have this on my desk. It's teeny baby Jesus at my church, which Spirit blessed me with an amazing church. They have a kids camp that's Lego themed. It's great. And they have Lego Jesuses. And that's this one came out of that one. This one isn't a Lego one, but they did it at the same time. And I keep it as a reminder for myself and everything that I do to be so giving and loving. And when you do that, you realize that life is so much more simpler than you ever realized, to be honest. Like I don't have a word to describe it other than it being a feeling. And I know I've said on some other lives where it's like a lot of days I do cry. I cry all the time because I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. And like I wouldn't change my life for the world. Like as hard as my life has been on paper or what I've experienced as well, like the body things, people, like hardship. Like as hard as it is, it was the most rewarding thing ever because now I get to share all of that with the world and let people know that you're gonna be fine. Like you're gonna always be just fine. And there were moments when I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this. Like I don't know how I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I honestly don't know. I don't even want to wake up tomorrow. Um, and being fearful that if I run into that person, I don't know if I'm going to make it tomorrow. Right. Like, and I always did. And I always woke up and I always went back to my connection to my ancestors, to spirit, to loving myself. And um, it was such a blessing. And just know that sometimes when you have a divinely led business, you meet the hardships that many other people have never met in their lives so that you can share your story. Sometimes spirit will literally prepare you to share your story and your miraculous light at the end of the tunnel moments because there's someone out there who needs to hear it from you. Um, and that's how we help people grow. That's how we grow. It's how we are there for each other as a community. Yeah, I know I liked you for a reason. Yeah, I cry all the time because I'm grateful. Yeah, it's so amazing. And when I was younger, I was made fun of a lot for crying, mostly from my family, but like um for crying and just feeling different. Like because I couldn't express it. And when you are filled with that love and that divinity and that like urge, which I know all of you are, which is why you're here to like do things differently because you want to love people, you want to teach them about love, you want them to experience love. Life shifts in a completely different way, and you can't help but cry because it's so amazing. Like it's so miraculous. Like I was crying earlier today. I cried when I woke up and then I opened one of my books and I read and I put it down and I saw a notification that made me cry and then I was like I'm so grateful and then I like got out of bed and then like went to church and there was just so amazing things. And one of my friends was there who was having a hard time, and it was nice to just like embrace them and give them so much love. And then, I cried again. I was like, I'm just gonna cry all the time because I love you. And it's just, I'm so grateful. This is so, look, I have arms to help you, to hold you, to squish your back, you know? And then they were giving out free lunch. And I was like, I can't handle this. This is so great. Right? Like, be proud of who you are. Um, and know that you are also loved and so held. You are amazing. Seek gratitude for being such a beacon. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help all the time. Thank you for saying that. I used to cry all the time. I cry for my trans friends because why can't people just love each other? Thankful I found my people. Yeah, it is hard to see. It's very hard to see. And that's why we continue to be in this frequency and grow our businesses, right? Like our frequency of love needs to grow at a fast rate so we can teach people that that's not okay, right? It's not okay to hurt other people regardless of who they are. It doesn't matter who they are. Like everybody deserves to be loved. um and so you having a divinely led business is on purpose, right? Like you're meant to do that. You're meant to teach people how to love. You're meant to heal them, just like I'm meant to heal them and like tell you keep going, keep going, right? We need love in the world, so take it one day at a time and just keep going. And even with your, your children are going to grow up being like, no, my parents raised me with so much love, and I'm gonna love you, right? Like that's like how amazing. I experienced the same thing from my family. I cried a lot. I am HSP. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like crying is so healing, and sometimes a lot of people see it as weakness, but it's one of our greatest strengths, to be honest, to be able to feel so much. It's also, was thinking about this today with Santa Muerte when they come around because I work with the bony version. Many people are scared of them, but I have always loved them and I didn't recognize them for the longest time. And whenever they come, I can feel it. Her approaching because my body shivers and I like uncontrollably cry, and then they like embrace me with so much love energetically, and then I start to see them and it's like our emotions and our way that we receive love and the way that we express love is so unique that the world needs to see it so that they can normalize it in their life and know they are way more loved, even in the spiritual realm, than they think. Um, so I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so, so, so proud of you. Oh, thanks, Zawadi. I'm grateful for all of you as well and just appreciate you being here. I'm going to head out. I'm going to shower and eat some amazing food and probably go to bed in the next hour and a half so I can wake up early and do my spiritual practices and prep for tomorrow's My Body, My Choice. And, also I do candle workings. If anybody ever needs a candle working, go check out the resources in my link tree. Like there's also a button that says all, like you can go there and just see everything that I offer, tarot, candle workings, whatever you need. I'm always happy to help. Someone recently, which uh I loved, got a candle working, and they're on a new journey with deities, especially orishas. And when you're connected to them, you will always find people who are connected to them as well. And they chose a candle working, and it was so great, and they shared this story with me of how they were listening to something from one Orisha, and then it switched. They switched, like, which the Orishas will do, to another Orisha, and it was the same Orisha that I had, petitioned and asked them to come visit them and aid them in this stage of their life, and it just is always so cool. Like, I love hearing those stories because what we do is so powerful, and now it's like, I know that that deity is going to be there to help them, and they were open to it, right? They were open to it, and so they were able to receive those blessings and road openings and things like that because it was Elegua. So, if you ever need help with anything, again, I'm always here for you. Yes, safe travels, everybody. I will talk to you all later. I'm sending you lots of love, lots of hugs. Take care of each other, love each other. Take care of those teeny babies, even if they're not teeny. Keep doing your amazing work in homeschooling. I'm not homeschooling, but I am like schooling from home. Thank you, Zawadi. Yes, have a blessed night, everybody. Bye. I love you so much. See you soon.